My name is Billy Foster. I'm in the sales and marketing team for Home Entertainment Supplies and our publishing group True Blue in Sydney, Australia. So what sets us apart in terms of our game is the longevity of our game. Our game is going to be played for years to come. It's got not just our World Cup mode accessible to our consumers, but you've got 10 other game modes that you can play through. So once you've played through that World Cup component to our game, you can go in and play the English club tournament, the Aviva. You can go in and play the Rabo Direct, which is the based in Ireland, but considers teams from Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Italy. If you're from Europe and you want to play through the Super 15 content, we've got a Rugby 15 contingent to our game, which encompasses the 5 teams from Australia, 5 teams from New Zealand, and 5 teams from South Africa. We've got 31 stadiums within our game. The 14 stadiums that are licensed for this year's World Cup is a big plus for us. So you see all the stadiums that are going to be involved with this year's World Cup, all used within the game, all fully licensed sponsorships. Everything's there. So, and clearly coming from Australia, having the backing from both the Australian Rugby Union, having the Qantas Wallabies fully licensed, and then the team that is hosting this year's 2011 World Cup, the New Zealand All Blacks, having those guys fully licensed, and to have things like the haka that they perform before the games, and have the individual licenses to each of those players, I think is a real must for any rugby game, considering New Zealand are considered probably the #1 rugby franchise in the world at the moment. Really gives us an edge in terms of rugby games to come. In terms of character customization, individually we've got probably one of the more in-depth player customizations I personally have ever seen, and from the demonstration today, I think some other people have also seen. You're not just changing their ethnicity and their race, their name and their age. You're changing basically everything. What team they're going to be playing in clearly, their height, their weight, the colour of their skin, the colour of their eyes, how far their ears stick off their head, if they've got a broken nose, if their ears are bent over from packing into too many scrums with their cauliflower ear, if one eye is larger than the other. It goes into absolutely everything in terms of customization, and that's what's going to make our game so individualised and so personal. You can go in and people can create themselves. They're not given 5 or 6 generic body molds and faces to work from. You can go in, and if you're good at customization, you can go and make yourself almost to an absolute T. So, and then once you've created yourself, you can go and draft yourself into any one of the 93 teams that we have in our game. So I know myself, I was 100 in goal kicking, in tackling, in fitness. I was the #1 person on my team. And who did I play for? Played for the Wallabies. I was the fullback. I was the captain. I was the goal kicker. So that's something that I think everyone's going to strive towards to play with their heroes. So I think in terms of customization, we got that down pat. We got 4 New Zealand All Blacks to jump in. Jose Gear, Nemea Teolada, Aaron Cruden and Jimmy Cowan all strapped on motion capture suits. So all the gameplay you see within the game is all All Blacks players. It's not just guys imitating the moves, it's guys that have played the top level of rugby union in the world and probably play for, considered now, the best rugby side in the world, the New Zealand All Blacks. To have those guys in our game was obviously massive. The motion capture itself, Peter Jackson's studio in New Zealand, who made obviously the three Lord of the Rings titles, to have to be able to be invited to use his motion capture studio in New Zealand was massive. In terms of motion capture, he's #1 with the movies he's made. To be invited there, huge for us. And then for the big man himself, Jonah Lomu, to strap on a motion capture suit, he actually needed a custom-made motion capture suit because he's such a big human being. You'll see in our loading screen once you see the game, Jonah Lomu's all the actions, the palming, the fending, the flick passes of the ball, the kicking, all Jonah Lomu. So you're not just playing a game that's made by a bunch of programmers in New Zealand. You're playing a game that's endorsed by the New Zealand All Blacks and the Wallabies. And to have the backing of those people and the movement and the capture of their movement in the game is obviously a big plus for us.
Who's going to win the Rugby World Cup?
There's only one team, isn't it? It's the Wallabies.